go. Talk to him.
Classic codes, I ain't taking it slow. Forgive me, Lord, I woke up in that mode. Whether the winters were left in the cold.
Yo, it's Classic with the classic codes. We got another reaction today. Before we get into it, though, you know I need you to hit that subscribe button, hit the like button, turn on the notifications, and we about to get straight into it. We heading over to 8 at the table. Yes, Lord, we're going to do a reaction. They're having a conversation about infidelity and why it is the cause of so many relationships ending versus people working through it and things like that. I haven't watched any of this, so it's gonna be a straight authentic reaction. Y'all know I ain't about wasting no time though, so let's get right to it. Yes, Lord.
The hardest things for men to get over and women to get over when it comes to infidelity.
Oh, to infidelity?
That's where I went.
The hardest thing to get over is the same concept. Is the fact now there is a breach of trust and security in this relationship.
Is that the same for
Yes.
both? Okay.
Yes, because it all comes down to trust. Like, I can no longer trust you. So when you go somewhere, are you really going where you say you're going to? Right? Because the number one thing that's important for women is trustworthiness, not security, because that comes after and that takes a while. Are you who you say you are? Do you do the things that you say you're going to do? So now if I found out that you stepped out on this marriage or this relationship, are you who you say you are? Can I really trust you? And it's the same concept for men as well. Like, can I trust you? Because now there's no breach of trust. So what's actually needed is a conversation where the person that cheated must answer all of the questions that your partner had. Because we all create a narrative as to what happened.
No, let's stop. Let's stop. I'm hoping that what he's talking about is what he thinks husbands and wives should do. If we just go together, we not work first off. Yeah, I believe in the double standard. Let's get this out the way. I believe in the double standard. If she cheat, he a goofy for sticking around. If he cheat, they need to talk about it. Yeah, it's a double standard. Double standards exist. It's just, welcome to reality. Like, double standards exist. A lot of times it goes back to nature, but then y'all don't want to have that conversation. Cause then to have a conversation about the nature of men and the nature of women, when you mad about it, now you mad at God. Because none of us designed our nature. This is God's design. Y'all be mad, y'all be beefing with God. When you beef with nature, you beefing with God. In real life, in real time. Different conversation though. But I'm not with him. If she cheat, you should go ahead and get up out of there. I'm gonna tell you why too. Most people don't forgive for real. So what I mean by that is, if you cheat on her and you get caught cheating, just go ahead and get up out of there, because you're gonna have to die 1,000 deaths in that relationship. You think that's never gonna come up again? You think that's not gonna be a sore spot? You know what I mean? It's self-inflicted torture every day you spend with her after that. I always said, if I ever was in a relationship and cheated and then was caught cheating, I'd just go ahead and break up with her. They're like, how you gonna get caught and then leave? What you think, I'm sticking around to go through that? Constantly bringing it back up, constantly hanging it over my head. Now again, if you talking about your wife, that's different. But a girlfriend, come on, man. Ain't no paperwork on this. Ain't no kids. It's not more to lose. I could just go start over, fresh and clean. Man, shit, I'm gone. Especially if she cheat, it's over with. But if I cheat and get caught, if it's a girlfriend, I'm out. That shit over with. But a wife with children and a household, you got to have a conversation. That's the difference too. And I don't think a lot of people know the difference. They exit in marriages like they go together. That shit crazy. Let's continue.
And what's the cause of it, right? So the person that cheated needs to be honest about everything. But at the same time, the one that's asking the questions, there are certain questions that you can ask, because that's just going to perpetuate the trauma, right? You don't ask if it was bigger, or if things were better or any of that, because that doesn't help. That's just going to make everything worse, right? And then once that has been reached and you've updated your narrative, now we go to the accountability. Why did you step out? What emotional need was not being met? And that's where the issue starts. Because now you have the person that cheated sharing, hey, I've been feeling unwanted. I've gotten no attention from you. And I've been missing that. And the other partner must take accountability.
But what if the problem was it was bigger? We got to know that. Because you can't say we can't ask
Still
certain
cheated.
questions.
But the person was back.
First
So
of all,
that-
if we're gonna
does that make you feel
discuss
better?
Infidelity, you got me fucking up the word. If we're gonna discuss infidelity, like we might as well just put everything on the table. Why are any questions left out? I understand why you said like it doesn't help the conversation or it might just make things worse. But what if that's a part of the problem?
Okay. So now so when I asked what emotional need was not being met, was that I was not being satisfied sexually. And I've tried to voice that and I've tried to do things to address that, but those things were not received properly.
Is that when it's okay to ask if it was better?
Knowing that if it was better or not doesn't help solve the issue. Because now the partner that didn't cheat must take accountability.
Man, listen, who's sticking around for, again, difference? Husband and wife had this conversation he talking about. Man, dude, if you got a girlfriend and she go do the ding-a-ling gymnastics on you, she step out into them streets, dog, man, I'll be having this conversation with her, bro. Listen, you let her tell her side while you pack your shit. Tell her stay at the house. You'll find somewhere else to go. Fuck you talking about. Tell her stay. You stay. I'll leave. I don't know why that was funny.
I say, you know what? You have tried to spice things up. We have not been having as much sex. I've not put in as much effort needed in our sex. Until that accountability is reached, we can go to step 2. Okay. So if somebody
Yeah, not the 3 though. That
do you
is
see
like-
how men think though?
What is
if
the-
somebody cheated with you with a 3, at the end of the day, they
Women
cheated.
think
They
the same
cheated.
thing,
Like
right?
it
No,
doesn't
because
matter.
Cheating is
Women think
cheating.
the same thing.
No.
If you cheat
Whether it's
on
with
a-
Beyonce or
if I cheat
I
on
think
my
I
girl
wanna
today
know-
with Beyonce, she will understand.
I think
bro.
that I want to know that you stepped out and it wasn't what you thought it was, so that
But
my
it never-
ego is still intact.
so 60% of infidelity lasts one day. It's very
You
rare.
hear them talking about a weekend?
It's very
Ah,
I
Or-
try to tell you,
for a
his
different
numbers
reason.
are not right. Those numbers are dated. They are not clinically proven with the 2018 and above
No,
years.
it's accurate. It's accurate. So it's very rare. It's only about 5 to 10% of affairs that last years, right? Because eventually,
You said affairs versus infidelity.
affairs and fidelity, same concept, cheating.
Whoa.
It's not the same. That's not the same. An affair is like another relationship. Infidelity, you could just smash something real quick. That does affair fall under infidelity? Absolutely. But all infidelity is not an affair though. So that's where he got it twisted.
Affair and
I'm using
infidelity
the
is
same
not
words.
the same thing.
I'm using the same words, right? It's the same meaning, right? So it's very rare.
Wait,
that,
hold on, Miri. What's the definition of affair?
okay, so I do
What's the
I
definition
do
of affair,
agree with
Miri?
Rico to a degree in terms of an affair, you know,
has a
as
different
opposed to cheating,
connotation.
right? So let's say I have an affair with someone where we establish a relationship, a routine, the deception, whatever we do, as opposed to I have a one night stand. Right now, the
That's the
betrayal,
60%,
the
yeah.
betrayal is a betrayal, right? Although it differs with men and women in terms of emotional cheating as opposed to sexual cheating. We don't have to get into that. So yeah, I do agree that, you know, in terms of having an affair and and cheating might differ a little bit, especially when we're talking about our everyday people. Having an affair, especially as a married woman, if my partner has an affair as opposed to if he cheated, I don't know. It's not
That's
the same.
an affair. I'll say it, Miri. An affair is a real relationship within a relationship infidelity.
outside of the
Outside of your
relationship.
relationship.
Well, I'm saying while you're
I
in,
got you,
yeah,
I
so
got
outside,
you.
yeah,
Yeah.
and infidelity. This is just infidelity.
There's
Infidelity is more so like can be
Hard,
a one
right?
night stand.
Hard to say
It
it.
can be now. This is not necessarily the actual definition because I don't know for sure. For sure, this is what I think me and a lot of the people deem the difference is.
So the process of an affair and infidelity is exactly the same. You're saying affair because you're thinking more long term.
Mhm.
On average, guys are not really just going somewhere and find someone and they're having sex with that quickly. Some do, but
Thank you.
it's not a high percentage, right?
Nah, you gotta be top tier. Top tier.
Exactly. So in reality, what happens is that my emotional needs are not being met in the relationship. So now I'm spending more time outside. I meet someone, right? We're talking or we're seeing each other more. It's just friendship. We're just talking. It's nothing serious, right? But we're finding more ways to see each other. Then I start to say, my life would be better with that person, right? So I start to daydream of what our relationship would look like outside of my partner. And I'm not even telling my partner that I'm having a friendship with that person, right? Then we start spending more time together and then feelings kick in and then the physicality take place.
He just breaking down the step by step of like how you end up cracking something else. But that begs the question of, you know, can you technically say like to your partner, if they ask you why did you cheat, you say it's your fault. They'll always tell you like, no, it's your fault. You the one that went out and did what you did. You can't look at them and say you pushed me to do it. You definitely can't do that. You can't do that. You listen, whether it's the man making that argument or it's the woman making that argument, you just never gonna win that one. You never gonna win that one. Okay, because if it's a woman saying that to a guy, he gonna say, "Oh yeah, I forced you to lay down and split your freaking legs." That's what he gonna say, right? It was me. Yeah, I forced you to do it. Yeah, okay, fuck out of here, right? And then if it's a man saying it to a woman, she gonna say that's horse shit, blah blah blah. So, yeah, you're not gonna win that one, but it's a real conversation. It's a real conversation. You know what I mean? Because in a roundabout way, he kind of saying that something not being met, you trying to communicate it, trying to express it, you trying, and then you eventually go fill the void on your own. So if you want to play the blame game, both sides would have an argument for sure.
So when we say affair, we're talking about the process, but the act is still the same. So even if we're speaking from a one night stand, you still have to go outside. You got to meet someone. You got to talk to them, right? And then you got to get in bed with them. It's just a faster process of the affair, but it's still an affair.
But
However, it's
can
done.
you
When he
can
said
you
get in bed with them, I was
differentiate
like,
Matt?
or the kitchen table?
Matt, but can
whatever.
you differentiate the emotional attachment and difference, right? So if I go out and I have a one night stand with someone and I never see this person again, it was just a sexual relationship, as opposed to building an emotional attachment with someone that I've been having an affair with for 2 years. And now it's eliciting,
Now I love you
responses
both.
like I love you and things like that. Can you differentiate that when it comes to couples therapy?
Yes. So, hence why 60% of affairs or infidelity last one day, right? Because usually, whoever cheats feels bad, comes home, I'd either share or not share, but realize that they did something wrong. It signals to them our relationship is really in trouble. But in reality, it's very rare that the men would leave their wife for the other woman because they have learned how to compartmentalize the two. However, for women, they really fall for the individual that they're having an affair with. It's a lot more emotional and the attachment is a lot greater to the point that they might even leave, they're more likely to leave their marriage for that person.
That's it. You get 2 fist pumps.
Yeah. I mean,
Why?
yeah. So he didn't say nothing wrong at the end there. I totally agree with that. I mean, I don't even want to say I agree. I understand that to be true. It's nothing to really disagree with. It is what it is. Women are designed to emotionally latch on, which is why in nature, you see a lot of polygyny amongst nature. So humans included, but you see a lot of polygyny because women will latch to a dominant male, and you know their reception to having sister wives in nature in a natural setting isn't necessarily something that's objection, an objection, because the better, the more the safer, easier to hunt, easier to protect the cubs. There's a lot going on when you got numbers in nature. So, they don't actually fight against that. But humans, we have societal norms, we have we have religious principles that have been, instilled and indoctrinated in the majority of us. We have, which those principles actually encompass polygyny, but it's not popular to teach it in the churches though. But it actually encompasses it. We have a lot of things that keep us from the thought process of being polygynous. I don't know how I necessarily got here, but I think it's because they're talking about infidelity, and I think a lot of times, how do I say this? The beauty in marriage is that, to a degree, the man has to fight his natural urge every single day to honor his vows. That's part of the beauty in it, that he cares for this woman so much that he's going to embark on such a tough journey, because it is difficult. To live up to all those vows is difficult. So that's part of the beauty in marriage. And for the woman, the beauty is the amount of sacrifice that she's gonna put out in order to be in the role of a wife and a mother, and signing up for such a task out of love and appreciation and commitment to the man, to God, and to the family. That's part of the beauty in it. But at the same time, monogamous marriage versus polygynous marriage creates that fight for the man, that fight against nature. If he can operate in polygyny, it's also easier for him to operate in loyalty. Don't let that go over y'all head. Make sure you hit subscribe, make sure you hit like, and make sure if you don't do nothing else, you stick to the codes. Another classic.
Classic codes, I ain't taking it slow. Forgive me, Lord, I woke up in that mode. Weathered the winters when left in the cold. Harden my heart and now harden the flow.